Okay, so I'm really pleased today to be speaking to Byron Yankee, who is actually a current placement student out on placement as we speak. So welcome, Byron.
Thank you.
So could you just explain to everybody what you study and where you are on placement, both physically and the company and what they do?
Yeah, so I'm an accounting and finance student, and I'm currently working for a company called PRGX. So it's basically a business analytics and information services company. And what we do is we identify errors in information, which could lead to overpayments by our clients. So I'm working on Tesco at the moment, one of our clients. And yeah, we're just trying to help them save money and just retain profit in the long run. And I think one of our clients are Walmart. We work with Costco, Sainsbury's, Argos, so on and so forth. But I'm specifically assigned to Tesco.
Oh, okay, so you're kind of account managing that one.
Yeah.
And you've only been on placement, what, a few months at this point?
Yeah, about 5 months.
Oh, okay. So did you start before the summer then, or kind of at the summertime?
Mid July.
Oh, okay, great. So thinking about that then, when you were this time last year thinking about going on placement and making placement applications, how many did you make or consider before arriving at this one?
First of all, this time last year, my CV was not done. I must admit, my head was not there. I was having a bit of fun, uni life. But I started applying in December, and to be honest, I applied for 13 or 14 companies, and I consider myself to be one of the lucky ones. A couple of my friends had to do upwards of 18, 20, but I was lucky to have less. And yeah, I got a lot of help from Case, to be honest. I went there 5 times before I could get the perfect CV. And I think every time I went, I learned something new.
Fantastic. So you sought help from Case, or did you
Case.
go to Careers as well?
Yeah, I went to Careers Hub, and I think there's a template for making a CV and cover letter as well. That's what I did first. Then I went to get it checked, and I kept going back and forth, making amends, yeah, to try and get better, to be honest.
Brilliant. So there was lots of tweaks and tips that they could give you.
Mm-hmm.
Super. And then thinking about, the placements that you were applying to and the selection processes, did you get very far with the others, or was it just this one that you kind of went through the actual process?
I did a lot of video interviews.
Okay.
Never went beyond that. The video interviews were my weakness, but yeah, and I also did, I think, online tests. Yeah, I practiced. I did one module, which kind of gave us practice questions, and everything I saw there, I came across on those practice questions on the actual company websites.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's not that difficult if you practice.
Yeah.
You can get it, and from there you go to the video interview, and then you go to the actual interview. But I never got past the video interview stage. That was a problem.
Yeah. So did you practice on a video app that the Careers Service have?
Yes, if I remember correctly. Sorry.
I can't remember what it's called. I just wondered whether you'd use that, for practicing all these video interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was that helpful?
It was helpful because what I realized is most of these companies have a similar structure when it comes to this type of selection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed.
So with the psychometrics, there was also some information on the careers website to do practice tests, and that was really helpful.
Exactly.
Great. So what would be your top tips for Black, Asian and minority ethnic students in the business school at the same point that you were at last December, thinking about going on placement? What would be your top tips for them?
I don't have a lot of tips, but all I can say is apply. Start early. Start early. Yourself a deadline and try and find a placement before that deadline gets there. Mine was end of Feb, and that's exactly what I did. Also, don't let your background determine your motivation as to whether you want to apply or not. And of course, Case.
use the resources that we've
Yeah.
got. Yeah,
They
we're very
really help.
lucky in the
I
business
can't
school.
believe I'm saying this, but they really help.
No, it's great. It's great to hear it from people that have actually used these services. So, knowing that it makes a difference. So then, looking back on your months, you say, was it July you started?
Mid-July, yeah.
Mid-July. So far, obviously, you've got another more than half a year to go. You're at early days, but so far, what has your placement year given you in terms of your CV going forward that perhaps other part-time jobs, that you might have had before hadn't given you for your CV?
How do I do this? How do I answer this question?
Are you doing anything sort of in that professional environment that is different in terms of the skills you're using?
Yeah, I feel a sense of responsibility because I am dealing with quite sensitive information of a very large entity. And based on my previous, jobs, I didn't feel that way. And I feel like managers trust me enough now to get the work done. And yeah, I've never experienced that before.
So are you being sort of encouraged to work on your own initiative more?
Exactly. Exactly.
And sort of take autonomy and balance everything that you've got on your workload, rather than being told what to do all the time. Yeah.
And also just being more independent, especially considering the fact that COVID had to work from home now. My manager's not right there where I can go and ask for help. I have to do it on my own. Independence.
Definitely, that's a significant challenge just for your year group, really, hopefully.
Yeah.
That you're having to go on placement in a new organization where you're not actually in the organization to understand it, sort of from conversations and water cooler moments. You're just sort of having to pick it up.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
So far so good, and every now and then I lose focus, but so far so good.
So thinking about, the sorts of people that you're networking with on placement, because a lot of that hidden jobs market when you come to graduate in a year and a half's time is through networking. What sort of exposure do you have to different sort of different people within that workplace? Obviously not physically now, but in terms of meetings that you're in and conversations that you have, are you coming across lots of different people with different jobs, or are you in a very sort of a small team that you work closely with?
We're kind of in a very small team. Yeah, I'm only assigned to Tesco, so I don't work with those outside of Tesco.
Right.
I don't know if I'm making sense, but
No, it does, especially for you now being at home. You're not coming across lots of other people.
I did initially, but now we moved back in, and yeah, I don't know.
It's trickier, isn't it? So in terms of building up that network then, do you feel over the next sort of, how long have you got? Another 8 months, 7 months? Do you think you're going to have opportunities to sort of connect with people on LinkedIn that might then, make you aware of jobs when you leave?
Yes, no doubt.
I think that's a real benefit of placements, actually. So what would you say then has been the biggest difference between going on placement in a professional environment and any jobs that you've had previously?
So previously, I pretty much worked in retail. I also worked as a cinema host, so it was mainly focused on customer interaction. I was always speaking to different customers, different personalities every now and then, but with this one, it's just I'm on my own. The only thing I interact with is my monitor. So it's a massive difference.
Yeah, definitely. But those skills that you used in those customer service roles, were they useful to you in making your application and building your CV at all?
Yes.
So in terms of, you're working with a client, aren't you? A multinational client.
Yeah.
And those interactions and those having those jobs, were you able to draw on scenarios from those jobs?
Exactly. For example, patience. You don't always get things right. Not every customer is going to be happy. The same way when you come to work, initially you won't always get everything right.
And were you asked anything in interview like that then?
Yes, I was.
So it was useful to have those examples.
Exactly.
To answer with. Excellent. Okay, and this is a question I've kind of asked people who've completed a whole placement year, so you might not be able to answer this yet, but what are you most proud of in the 6 months that you've been there so far? So you've done kind of half a placement. What are you most proud of at the moment?
First of all, I'm proud of myself for being able to secure a placement in the first place. And since we're a recovery audit team, I've managed to recover over £100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to put on your CV.
During my training, I did not even think about it because it was that difficult for me. But now here I am.
So you're using the skills that you're learning at university, you're putting them to really powerful use in your placement. That's fantastic. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add if people are kind of toying with going on placement and they don't know whether it's going to work for them? And some people are just sort of keen to get the degree and get out and then get a graduate job. What would you say to those people?
I'll say do it. Actually start applying because it's worth it in the long run. You may not think of it now, but when you do it, you'd realize what I'm talking about.
Excellent. I'm really glad it's been worthwhile so far, and good luck in the next 6 months.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Byron. Thanks for joining me.